Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. Before we begin, just want to remind you to like, subscribe, follow wherever you listen to us so you don't miss any episodes or bonus stuff that we do. I'm Sandra.
I'm Karlee, and today we are doing another kind of top list, tops, favorites, because we didn't do a bottoms list for this one. But we thought, I don't know how this even came up. It's been floating around for a little while, but there's so many different monsters and various different things on Supernatural that we were like, hey, let's pick a favorite, because I don't know, that's just what you do. So we were only looking at monsters, so we weren't, well, I wasn't including like demons, angels, Leviathan, you know, anything meta, I suppose. I was just looking at the kind of the monster of the week stuff that came up. Was that what you were doing, Sandra? You've not got like Castiel the Angel of Fuck You written down or anything?
No, but I think when I was trying to figure out like what to me would sort of classify monster of the week is like if you could take out the majority of the episode and there wasn't anything kind of that would get lost in what was happening with, like you said, the overall like plot point. So like if it was a majority of just whatever the case was, maybe was kind of like my thought process. So looking at it now, there's one I think that has a demon in it. So that's, I think, the main thing. But most of them are just monster. Like, yeah, we'll find out. So again, I just kind of went with it's just not important to the overall plot of the season, I felt. I could be wrong once we go into them more. That was my mindset. You could tell we discussed this in advance quite a lot.
Yeah, no, we didn't totally just put favorite monster of the week on the docket and then go away and not discuss it any further. And I mean, we all know that she's just scribbled off like Castiel the Angel of Fuck You, Dick Roman, you know, Crowley after season like 8, whatever. She's taken off all the regular big bads that we see. See, if we could have had regular big bads, I would have had Metatron on there because fuck that guy.
Well, I think another reason why this probably came up too is we started doing comic relief episodes, and I think when we were doing our top and bottom, you know, favorites, I think we started seeing that there were some things that I wanted to save, you know, for another thing. And I'm like, oh, well, I really wouldn't, you know, this would classify more as like this. This way we can hear what other people think about their favorite Monster of the Week episodes too. And if sometimes you're just super sick of Monster of the Week episodes and you just want to get on with what's going on with the season. So yeah.
Yeah. I know that's been a reoccurring theme when we've done our tops and bottoms. There's a lot of Monster of the Week stuff. Comes up in your bottom list because you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, not all of them, but some of them, you know, because I think the placement of them too is kind of like depends on, I think, whether or not I like it or maybe understand it, you know, a little bit more. So yeah. So I don't know. I think we were saying you wanted me to kind of
go for it
with my list. So what I did was I had a bunch of runner-ups that I just kind of wanted to talk about first before I picked my favorite. I feel like maybe that might give listeners a better idea as to like, what the heck is my brain? Why am I choosing these and what's the reason behind them? Most often than not, I feel that it's not even necessarily that I have a favorite monster in the Monster of the Week. It's just the overall structure of the episode and like what's going on in it. Is there a really fun like Dean moment, or you know what's going on with like sometimes it's just which we're still going to do a favorite bloopers because Karlee goes on about those a lot. So I think that like for me it's just leave like alone. Just that for me.
As an aside on bloopers though, they are starting to ruin the show for me. Just as a complete aside, because I just watched the episode. I just started season 7 and I just watched the episode where Dean is saying to Sam, he's talking about Cass, and he's like, he lied to us, he used us, he cracked your guard like it was nothing, you know. And I couldn't see the scene that was happening in front of me because all I could see was Jensen losing his fucking mind.
Yeah. I almost do wonder, I think sometimes, when we know too much about a show and the behind the scenes, like, after a while, how much does it cloud our experience of it? And I think that sometimes it's like, I think I've gotten into the habit now when Ted and I are doing our latest rewatch. I'm actually not watching the bloopers after, like, after I'm done with the Blu-rays. I'm just like, I don't watch them because they're funny, but yeah, then you'll remember that when you're seeing a scene that maybe has a totally different, usually, vibe, feeling that it's supposed to have emotionally.
Like the air supply scene. I just watched that as well. That's season 7. Because I'm watching them on Amazon. So I don't have, unless it's like included in the credits, like the Eye of the Tiger scene.
Yeah.
I don't, like, the bloopers aren't there. I would have to go and find them.
Yeah.
And I'm finding myself I'm not going to dig my DVDs out to look at the gag reel or finding them on YouTube, because I've seen them all, and the ones that stick in my head for a reason. But no, we will. But that was my fault. I took us off track there. But we will do another episode on favorite bloopers. So if you have a favorite blooper that you would like us to rewatch or that really sticks in your mind and you want us to talk about it, let us know. The details at the end of the episode. Okay. Let us know. Pre-warning on upcoming episodes. Let us know.
So my first one, I'll go. I tried to put these in order of seasons too, just as the runner-ups.
Oh, right. So they're not runner-ups in terms of favorites. No, they're just chronological.
No, they're just ones I found, and I was like, oh, yeah. So this one's Hollywood Babylon, season 2, episode 18. So it comes right after Heart and right before Folsom Prison Blues. So I'm guessing after all of the angst and drama from Heart, they kind of like decided let's put this fun little riff on Halloween slasher horror movie things, where the boys are they go to LA, trip to Hollywood to investigate the death of one of the actors on a horror film set after rumors begin that he was killed by a ghost. So, and I'm literally just reading this off of the fandom page, Supernatural. They discover the death was a publicity hoax, but when the executive producer and a studio executive are killed, Sam and Dean realize they are dealing with a haunted set. I just liked how they were making fun of themselves in addition to just horror movies in general. And the scenes, the sets, I thought they were all really fun. I loved that Dean loved being a PA, and he kind of like really fit in with the whole crowd situation. I thought that was one of the first fun ones, maybe like in addition to like, I think Tall Tales was first. And then this was like the second one, that even though it was Monster of the Week, there wasn't a lot at stake, but it was just a fun little like offshoot. I felt like you could just pluck it out and everything else would be fine. There'd be nothing else that you need to worry about with that. And plus, Dean gets some. I'm always happy when Dean gets a little something. So I figured that was another reason.
I was landing all fours. Yeah. I like that episode, but I like it more from Sam's perspective of being utterly bemused about how well Dean fits in. And Sam's just kind of like wandering around, like trying to work a case. And Dean has become like a totally unpaid PA. Yeah,
he's just like, he's on his little headset. He's talking back to people. He's back and forth. He's just like going back, and Sam's just like, what? And they'll go into a trailer, and I'm like, he's like, why are we in here watching this thing and all that stuff?
Yeah.
And I like that they also, from what I remember, again, these are more behind the scenes or like stories that you hear. I know that Supernatural, I think producers would get kind of like not understand why the show had to be so dark all the time. And like in terms of like lighting or different things like that, or we're trying to like interject their thoughts on a script or whatever. And like how they had, they reworked some, like whoever was with them when they were taking care of the ghost, then put that stuff into like the movie and stuff like that. So it's just like, art imitating life, imitating art. Plus there's a cute little like nod when they're on the Hollywood, they're on the little whatever those things are. Oh, why am I can't think about words today? It's just been one of those days. They're on this little bus thingy, trolley thingy, and they're going through the sets.
Little golf carts.
It's not really a golf cart because there's a bunch of people on it with them.
Like the little tour
like
bus
a trolley.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
so they're on like the Hollywood tour, like behind the scenes set. And somebody makes reference to, oh, and here we're passing by Gilmore Girls set. And like, Sam just like jumps off because he was on Gilmore Girls. And it's just like, he's just done.
Cute. Yeah.
So it's just like those little things that they toss in there that I thought were cute about it. So yeah, and I like that Dean had fun with it too. That was, it's always nice.
I like that episode. It's poking fun at the industry in a similar way to the French Mistake, but not like. I mean, the French Mistake was maybe a little bit meaner, but that one's just like a little, like behind the scenes of a movie set or a TV set. And I did really enjoy it, and I also enjoyed the directors being like, why does it have to be like this? How can they hear us from hell?
Like questioning. It's like after a while, why are you questioning these things? But
I bet it was fun to film as well. And know that like actor experience is always a big part of my like or dislike of an episode. Mentioning no episodes mystery spot. But no, I bet that was fun to film. And I always wonder how much of that stuff is real, as in how many of the people, because I know in the French Mistake, like it wasn't really Bob Singer acting as Bob Singer, and it wasn't really Kripke. But I do wonder for that one how much, maybe it was the actual crew that they, just like for like the background shots and stuff. Yeah. If it was them just going about doing their job, and then, like maybe the more speaky actory bits were done by actual actors as opposed to crew. But
the one thing that I remember that I think that they did insert a person, the name, but it's not the person playing the role, was Mick G, who was one of the producers. I believe he's the guy that's directing this movie. And so they made a point of like inserting his name in there and stuff like that. But aside from that, I'm not sure. The sets were just kind of fun too. Like, they had them on a cemetery set, and it's like, but they've probably used something very similar to that, like, in other situations themselves and things of that nature. So it was just like dipping their toe into the meta, I think before they just started like going into it full on later seasons. So
it's interesting that what we like about that episode isn't so much the monster, it's all the auxiliary shit that goes along with that.
I think that was my theme for most of these, because it's like I said, I've never really been, the monsters to me are just like what you get the boys to interact with and see. It's like they some of them are set interesting, dressing. Some of them are cool, but like they're the means to the end for you to see Sam and Dean. So my next one is from season 7. It's called Party on Garth. It's episode 18. So this is the second.
Oh yeah, I'm not that yet.
Second instance of seeing Garth. So of course the first episode will always be tainted because it is the Time for a Wedding episode where Garth is introduced.
I'm one episode before that now.
Okay, so this one you get to see Garth without all of that other baggage with it.
And I will say Garth is fucking kick-ass in Time for a Wedding. Like, it's great. I love everything about the character. I love the concept that they were like, what is the absolute antithesis of Jared Padalecki? DJ Qualls. That's right there. And I've seen DJ in a bunch of shit as well. But no, I just like, you could not get two more polar opposite people. And I love that they were like, absolute yes, this. And he really, I've really enjoyed it. But unfortunately, she who shall not be fucking named ruins that whole episode. But yes, Party on Garth. Tell me why we like Party on Garth.
So in terms of where it comes in the season, so it's right after the Born Again identity when Cass comes back. After it is of grave importance, I think, when we get more information about Bobby in the Vale, hasn't crossed over, all of that stuff. So again, it's it's sandwiched between a lot of like heavy plot episodes, which again, I think is great. So I think having Garth in it is really kind of like the main reason why you get to see more of him with Dean and Sam. You get to see him sort of questioning what's going on, and he's picking up on stuff. Like he picks up on the Bobby stuff, like the EMF meter and like weird things like that are going on that even Dean and Sam aren't necessarily like clocking right away.
Mhm.
And so the summary is Dean is surprised when he gets a call from Garth asking for the brothers' help on a case. Sam and Dean discover they are battling a shoujo, a Japanese creature sent to seek revenge on enemies. The worst part about fighting a shoujo, you can only see it when you're drunk. Everybody's fucking
Yes.
hilarious when they're drunk in this. That's pretty much it.
Yes.
Sam getting drunk and then being like, "Oh, I've got to leave the bar, but I can't, so I'm gonna like get into a cab." Dean being like, "Well, you know, it's gonna take me a lot more to get drunk." Like when they're trying to actually see the shoujo
Yeah.
on the camera. Garth
Garth,
getting
are you
drunk
drunk?
after a beer, you know.
A beer, yeah. Yeah.
And so it just felt fun to me. And then, oh yeah, and I think that's the first time you see Mr. Fizzle. Yeah, that's the only time you see Mr. Fizzles, where
I could not. DJ just did a thing with stands with the Mr. Fizzle gloves, and I could not fucking place it. I knew it was like because obviously DJ was like the face behind it. I knew it was a Garth thing, but I couldn't face it. Is it that one, Mr. Fizzles?
Yeah,
He
that's where
knows
Mr.
when you're
Fizzles comes up, and he's
lying.
talking. You know, he's talking to the little girl. And unfortunate, like she had like some she had some. I don't know if she called it a big girl drink or something, whatever it was. It was like she drank something accidentally of her mother's. It was orange juice with something. And so she ended up seeing stuff that, you know, she wouldn't have normally seen. And so then, you know, Garth comes in with Dean and like Dean's reactions to Garth. They're all so funny. They're so fun together. And I think that's why I just really enjoyed that episode. It was just so much fun. I like it more every time I see it. Now you see Bobby at the end, you know, and so there's a little bit of like plot there, but Dean ends up getting the samurai sword and it just kind of like got shot over to him. And you know, it ends up being Bobby that was probably helping, you know, the whole time. So
is that the one that ends where Garth sort of, I can't remember if he says it to Sam and Dean or just to Dean, but he's like, "You're not the only ones that loved Bobby."
No. That's another one in a couple
one.
more. I think might be next season or season after that. No. This is still when he hasn't taken over the Bobby duties yet.
Right. Yeah.
But he knows about Bobby having passed and stuff. So there isn't that much yet. No, but it's after they say goodbye to Garth and they go, Dean forgets his flask in the hotel room. So when he goes back in, he gets the flask and then you see that Bobby was there. So you know that Bobby's still tied to them, to that flask kind of situation. So not really because of the monster, even though it was interesting. It was an interesting concept and it was a revenge thing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but still not quite why I would, you know, it was one of my favorites, Monster of the Week. The next one is from season 8. It's Huntery Hiriochi, and it is the 8th episode in the season. It is between A Little Slice of Kevin and Citizen Fang. So that's the one where Castiel tells Sam and Dean that he's decided to become a hunter like them. Sam and Dean aren't sold on the idea, but agree to investigate a case Cass found where a man's heart literally bursts through his chest. The guys discover there has been more than one odd murder in the small town, and all of them resemble cartoon deaths. Now, this one I will say, and it's not really still even a monster because it's a person with abilities that's being manipulated by a human, you know, to do all of these burglaries and different things like that. But the concept of it was very fun. I love Looney Tunes stuff. So, I mean, it was just all Wile E. Coyote, you know, like that kind of stuff, like with the anvil.
With the love heart eyes and
you expected certain things to be shown to you in scenes and it wasn't. Like when Dean smacks himself in the head with a frying pan, like I expected to see like little birdies and stuff like floating over his head. You hear them, but you don't see them. So, you know, you get like those kind of like it puts you back into the mindset of like watching cartoons as a kid and getting in those, like if you were in a cartoon and how, all of that stuff I enjoyed. And it was, I like the very beginning when Cass is like, talking to them about he's going to be a hunter like they are. And it's a fun scene outside the gas station. Cass interrogates the cat, like those kinds of things. There's just a lot of fun, just gags that I really appreciated and liked overall. So I guess, again, like it's not really a monster per se, but I enjoyed that one. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I not ticking boxes
No,
on this?
that's
Am
okay.
I okay?
Yeah, no, you're
so
all
I'm
good.
still all right. Still all right.
You're all good.
This has nothing to do with a monster, but it's monster based. So the next one is Rock in a Hard Place, season 9, episode 8. It comes between Bad Boys and Holy Terror. It's just Dean and the porn star stuff that happens within it.
Is that the one with the virgin?
Yes.
Singing?
Yes.
I loved that episode.
It's not the best episode in any way, shape, or form, but it's so, I love all of the bits. I love it when they go to the chastity meeting and Dean's getting everybody riled up. I know people are like, ew,
that's my favorite.
Please. No, that is a classic scene. I love that scene. And then just, his interactions, like thinking he's going to like bag her and then he's got to like console her and then he doesn't know what's going on. And then he finds it's so not PC, but it's just so very Dean and just him getting a chance to just have fun in between having to save the day along with and Sam gets to have some time with Jody, which I think is also, you don't see them together enough, like just the two of them
so hard.
So I like that that's like one of the first times you get to see them sort of like working together. I think it's maybe the second time after season 7, I think, when like Dean goes back into time and then Sam and Jody are kind of like working in like present day to do that. But this one, it's just so good. It's just so good. I could watch those scenes on a loop. It's like that's the kind of like, I don't know, that's like material for me that I need when I'm writing.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So again,
good episode.
That's pretty much just it. That's just why I think it's one of the best monster of the weeks. And I think the monster they think are dragons, but it ends up being this demigod. Yeah, help investigate multiple murders in her small town, discovering 4 victims belong to the same church chastity group. Sam and Dee decide to infiltrate by joining the group themselves. Well, we can't unring that bell.
I always confuse that episode with the episode from season 4 with the Whore of Babylon, where they walk out of the church and Sam goes, no premarital sex, no gambling. They outlawed basically all of your personality. And I always confuse that line from this episode. And it's not, it's from season 4, but I feel like it would still ring true in this episode. Yeah. That's like 60% of you, Dean. No drinking, no sex.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. But so, and I think that's also the, like at the end of it, there's still a little bit of, because again, this is the season where Dean has gotten Gadriel to help out but first, like, it's Ezekiel. He thinks it's Ezekiel that basically saves Sam, and Sam doesn't know all of this stuff yet. So it's right before, I'm just realizing now, it's right before the episode where Sam kills Kevin. And like the previous one was when the flashback to Dean in the boys' home, like that one. So it's like there's a lot of like heavy stuff kind of being addressed, I think, both before and after. And it's just kind of like, we're just gonna let Dean get laid. Yeah, let's just let Dean get laid. And it's
always fucking Dean, isn't it? Wait.
Yeah. So it's
I don't know. We've just had 2 episodes where it's like, and Dean got laid, and we like episodes where Dean gets laid.
Yeah. So 1, 2. Is there another one where he gets laid that I have? No, I haven't picked another one where he gets laid. It's just those 2.
Okay,
because they probably didn't fit into Monster of the Week. Okay. So next one is season 10, episode 6. It's called Ask Jeeves, and it is right between fan fiction and girls, girls, girls. So this is the one that's basically like the Clue episode where Dean is surprised when he checks Bobby's cell phone and here's a message that says Bobby
the
or his
sexual
next of
assault in
kin
an episode
have been named as a beneficiary in an heiress's will. Hoping that means extra money, Dean talks Sam into hitting the road to claim their fortune. However, what they encounter at the house is far from a treasure chest. I like the way this episode is fluffy, it's stupid, it's funny, it's just them trying to figure out who's doing the murder. So it's like, it's just like Clue. I love that they throw in all of the different, like you can find like the candlestick and like the pipe and like just the different things like throughout that when Dean's going through the house, you see the different like murder weapons. It's just fun. And like the rich family is so stupid, but in a fun way. There's the two women that are constantly like needing to get laid and
being very sexually aggressive with Sam. We have different feelings on this episode.
Like overall, like the structure of it, the way that it's like a murder mystery thing. I liked that a lot. And I mean,
if they kept their hands to themselves, the aggressive flirting would be fine, but they're touchy.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that I don't like. You can be gross and aggressively flirty, just keep your fucking hands to yourself. You know?
Yeah, I like that they're.
You're like, I like that they're touchy.
No, I don't like that they're. I don't like that they're touchy. I like that they. I like the lines that come out of their mouths. Those two ladies are just like, you're just like, oh my God.
Please have some shame. Ladies, please. Yeah.
But they don't.
No,
and I'm just like, it's super like, oh my goodness, there they go kind of situation. But I enjoyed that. The setup to all of that stuff in that one. Again, and you definitely could just like, I don't think there's anything mentioned that's in any way meta or plot.
No.
About what's going on with the overall season. So that's why I picked that one as a runner up, and I'm almost done. I swear I've got 2 more before I get to my favorite one.
Go for it. Woo.
Next one is Safe House. It's from season 11. It's episode 16. It's in between Beyond the Mat and Red Meat. And it is the one where you get to see Bobby and Rufus in a flashback. And they parallel it with the same case that Sam and Dean are trying to figure out. So it's a dangerous creature is accidentally released into an old house, attacking a mother and her child, leaving them both in a coma. Sam and Dean learn that Bobby and Rufus once tracked the same entity. So the Winchesters look to the past to come up with a plan to catch the monster before anyone dies. I love seeing Bobby.
Is that the one with the portal where someone has to
they have to do they have to go into this sort of like the veil again.
Yeah.
So, and it's that moment where it's like there's time and space isn't a thing or whatever, and you actually see there's a moment when Bobby sees Dean, even though they're not in the same time, like when they're in the veil.
I like that episode.
I love Rufus in it because you get to see Bobby and Rufus together again. It's just so I just love it. They paralleled it, I thought, really well. Mm-hmm. And you kind of get more of a history about like, how much Bobby was important to the boys when it came to figuring things out, and like in this case, I don't think he didn't write everything in his journal like he normally would, because he got a call from Dean at the end of like where he was at and he had to go and help them out. And it was just like, so he didn't have time to write that important little bit of information that then they ended up figuring out needed to happen later with the same monster. So
yeah, we should have had more Bobby and Rufus. It's a crying shame that we didn't.
Yeah, I think they realized that, and they're like, we got to bring them back again. And yeah, it was really fun. It was there were sad moments, but they're just fun together. And yeah. So that was mine. And I know you get sad when, we see Bobby come back, but there's those moments where I'm just like, oh, yay. I like seeing him. I like seeing our Bobby. I got a little bit more upset when they brought back Jim Beaver.
Other Worlds.
As Other
Bobby
Worlds.
is-
Not that it
yeah.
wasn't a good character, but it's just like it wasn't our Bobby. And
Our
it kind of,
Bobby. Yeah.
it just kind of didn't feel right. For that
I didn't
one.
mind that one so much because it was like flashback and it was
Mhm.
Bobby and Rufus, which is good. I didn't
Mhm.
like it, like with the whole Ghost Bobby thing. I'm
Mhm.
not a fan of that,
Mhm.
you know? Or
Mhm.
like in the In My Heart Will Go On when they
Mhm.
bring Ellen back
Yeah.
and then it's like psych.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
they do stuff like that. But that was just I like that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then so my last one before favorite is the Scorpion and the Frog. It's from season 13, episode 8. It's in between War of the Worlds and The Bad Place. Feeling as if they are running out of options, Sam and Dean agree to steal a mysterious trunk belonging to a demon named Bartimus in an exchange for a locator spell the Winchesters can use to track down Jack. There's so many good scenes in this, but I kind of really liked this demon. Not that he would have been a great substitute for Crowley, but I liked him. You know, I thought he would have been like a fun bad guy to bring back again for whatever reason. But then of course they killed him at the end, so that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But I liked the whole like caper vibe to it, where, you know, like all these people are getting together to try to steal this thing. And
like a heist, yeah.
Yeah, and
like you've got this expert and that expert. Yeah.
And there's so many different, I mean, like Dean is so funny in this too. It's just
yes.
Putting his hand into the thing, and then him and Sam figuring out what they need to do with the guy to, like, you know, push him through, and then all the darts go at the dude because the dude can't die. And then I can't remember the name of, it's not Crash.
It's Smash and Grab.
Smash and Grab. Okay. Yeah.
And I think because they have a demon with them that's the guy, and then she's the whatever expert, like the locksmith or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's Smash and she's Grab. And they started out with like, he's like, how are we gonna find this? And they're like, oh, your blood will point, and then it's just Dean just like with a
like
random
dowsing rod.
flailing
Yeah. So there's just a lot of good stuff in that. Yeah.
But that is hands down. I was like, when you said Scorpion the Frog, I was like, that rings a lot of bells. Why does that ring bells? And then you said, and I was like, oh yeah, the scene with the, but what if it just and then it's a teeny tiny pin. And
he's like, oh, is that
yeah. Gives me big, not quite behind the scenes, but it's from a con where they're talking about it's changing channels when they're on the Japanese game show, and they're showing Jared that the thing's gonna the nutcracker's gonna stop and it's gonna be fine, and then Jared's like, Jensen's like, but what if it just bends a little? Just big vibes. What bends a little? Big vibes. Like that episode. Love it. And I love the fact that, like, what inspires, she's like, oh, I'm in a contract. And he's like, but you don't have to be.
Yeah.
If we just murdered him, you'd be free.
Yeah. And I feel like they might have been thinking they might have brought her back too. Because I feel like maybe they were, I think they just always realized.
Yeah.
I think they realized that they missed something. Like, I mean, because she could have been sort of like, not quite a Charlie, but like that, you know, that younger sister, you know, kind of situation that I think would have been interesting to see. So I just feel like they knew that they had messed up on a lot of things, and they just were trying to, well, maybe if we do this, maybe do that. But that would have been a character, her and even the demon, Bart. I was like, they could have come back maybe like for 1 or 2 episodes and I would have been perfectly fine, but they didn't. There was that. But my favorite monster of the week, and you can actually say, I think you could say this is a monster by proxy.
Yeah, it is.
It's Mint Condition from season 14. It's episode 4. It's In Between the Scar, Nightmare Logic. It's Chuck Yaeger. It's a Halloween episode. They haven't done one like that since, I believe, season 4, where it was like, it's the Great Pumpkin, Sam Winchester, where that was kind of around Halloween.
And that one was garbage, by the way. Just as a complete aside, that was a shitty Halloween episode. This is a good Halloween episode.
Yeah, because, I mean, again, like, Dean's still dealing with all of the stuff that's been happening with Michael, he's just, he's moping. He's in his room. Sam comes
There's pizza and
in.
beer.
Yeah. Sam comes in. He's got a case. Dean's like, oh, he shaved, yeah, looks good. Dolphin's belly or whatever. And
Dolphin's belly.
like from there, it's Sam and Dean, and like why Sam doesn't like Halloween, and Dean just seems to like love it. And they go into this comic book store, Chuck Yeager. It's like they both have their doppelgangers in there.
Yeah.
No, there's just
there's been a massive edit there, listeners, but don't worry about it.
You'll hear it at some point. It was, again, they got meta about it, where like, Dean's just so excited that he's going to get to battle Chuck Yeager, and they're talking about all of like
it's like a Jason Voorhees kind of rip off Hatchet Man, isn't it?
Yeah, but he gets to like go on about like his favorite movies with this other guy that loves the movies. And I think one of the things he says, it's kind of a little heart tugging, is like, well, the bad guys, or either the bad guys are going to get what's coming to them, or the good guys are going to save the day, or something like that. Something is said in a conversation that just kind of like, that's why it's his comfort. It seems like, why do you like it? It's like, and so you get an understanding as to why. You find out why Sam doesn't like Halloween, because of something horrible that happened with a girl at a Halloween party where he got sick, and it was just very humiliating and embarrassing. And then at the end, Dean's trying to like, oh, next year we need to dress up or whatever. And it's sad because they don't the following year. They don't dress up for Halloween the following year. That's when everything goes horrible and goes wrong. So they don't get a chance to enjoy Halloween again. But it's just Dean's dressed up like in a tweed jacket that's not supposed to be in any way hot. And I just find it incredibly hot. He looks so cute with glasses on and the jacket. And it's just a whole thing. I just enjoyed all of that. It was just a fun episode with a little bit of sads, at the end, but still it's fun. It was a fun episode. So that's my favorite Monster of the Week episode. An hour later. Karlee. Let's talk about your favorite Monster of the Week, because I think you have a couple, right?
I only have two. But that is because I haven't rewatched Supernatural as many million times as Sandra has. So I also don't particularly find Monster of the Week episodes all that engaging. So they don't tend to stick out in my mind. It's only when like you start telling me the plot or I'm rewatching and I go, So I had like, I struggled, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this one. And then I was writing a list for something completely different, and I was like, wait, no, is this a Monster of the Week? And you very graciously said yes. So I was like, right, I'm using that one. But since you brought out like a bajillion runners up, I'll do my runner up. So my Sandra's Monster of the Weeks are, apart from the final one, less about the monster and more about the break that they give Sam and Dean in the meta arcs of the seasons. And they tend to be sandwiched between really heavy episodes and then just like a little bit of levity. Mine are not that. Sorry. Click off now. Yeah. Mine are the monster and why I like the monster. So my original favorite Monster of the Week was going to be Wendigo, which is the second. It's season 1, episode 2. It's the second one. All the way back when they didn't know what they were fucking doing. And I've pondered this for quite some time, because whenever we talked about Monster of the Week, or whenever I tried to think of Monster of the Week, this was the only one that came up. And I think it's because Wendigo, the legend of Wendigos, is something that I know about outside of Supernatural. So a lot of the Monster of the Weeks in Supernatural, a lot of the monsters in Supernatural, so like Leviathan goes on long enough for you to get an idea of what's going on. Angels, demons, skinwalkers, things that are like shapeshifters, things like that. There tends to be like recurrent monsters, vampires, werewolves. I didn't think they classified as Monster of the Weeks because they come up again and again and again. Whereas the ones that were just like single use things, they tended to be very niche and very specific to Supernatural. And I mean, having now caught up, I actually said to you, I was like, I'm watching the Jefferson Starship episode, but it wasn't. It was before the Jefferson Starship episode.
Okay.
The one with the worm where Sam shoots Samuel.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
see, if I'd have remembered, that one would have made the cut. But just
Okay.
because I liked the way it made them turn on each other.
Yeah.
Like I was a
I
fan
think
of
that
that.
was called
but
what?
again,
And Then There Were None or something like that. I think that's what that one was called. Yeah. That was a good one.
yeah, because I think that's because they kill Gwen and they kill Samuel, and I think that's the last of the Campbells.
Yeah. I probably would
maybe.
say I didn't like it because they kill Rufus in that one too. So that one's the one that they kill Rufus,
Yeah.
and I get very bitter about that. But yeah, no, I that would have been a good
It would have
example.
been, but
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't remember it. It didn't stick out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Wendigo is, I don't know how up to date you are on your video game lore, Sandra, but there was a game that came out quite a few years ago now called Until Dawn, and it spawned off like a whole heap of like spin-offs that are terrible.
Okay.
And Until Dawn itself wasn't great, but the idea of this is that the monster in that game, is a Wendigo. That kind of, and I think either from that game or just cultural like osmosis, or maybe I looked it up after my husband played the game, I am aware of Wendigos. I know how they come to be. I know the lore behind them. When I thought about Monster of the Week, that was the only one that would come into my head. Just because I have, like, I don't know what a fucking Rugarus is. You know, I've never fucking, that's a bullshit name that they made up. You know, like, and that's the only other Monster of the Week I can think of is like that's an actual monster. You know. I could pick a million ghost episodes, or I could have said that one found footage werewolf one, but I don't know. It's just, I wanted to pick something that was just one time, one monster. And I like that one. I like that one. Wendigos are interesting, you know? You eat human flesh, you turn into a big grey thing. That's interesting to me. But also, it was so early in the season, and it's good to look at it and see like the little steps they were taking to try and establish what was happening. So, you know, we're just coming off the pilot and Sam getting back in the car, and you can see Sam still wrong-footed and doesn't know what's happening, whereas Dean's like, oh, hunting monsters, I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't wear shorts. I brought M&Ms, you know, like, I'm ready. I was good. Although it's from 2005, so, you know, the film quality doesn't necessarily hold up to what we're used to today, but it's good, and they like get to play with flamethrowers and you just save the people. It's just, I don't know. It was the only one that came into my mind. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to do
so really
Wendigo.
so really just like the lore too. It was like how you were focusing on it. Yeah. And I think they did a lot more of that. I think they tried to anyway, like in season 1, maybe even season 2, actual like lore of monsters. And I feel like too, that's a good episode just because you get more discussion with Sam and Dean. And this is like fresh off of Sam and Jessica, you know, being killed. So like, I think Sam's just like, we got to find Dad. We got to figure out what's going on. And like you said, I think it's more of you seeing how Dean operates, you know, in those situations. And then I think you see Sam pretty falling into line pretty quickly and like getting back into the routine of it. Stuff that he had done before in the family too. So,
and it's just because it's like, obviously the pilot's the pilot, so everybody's finding their feet, but you got this sense in the pilot that Sam was this is temporary, so he's going to do what he's going to do, but then he's going to go back to his life. Whereas this one is, okay, this is what I'm doing now. So yeah, like you say, he's more sure of himself. He's not looking to Dean so much to tell him what he needs to do, but he's still stumbling, still a little unsure, whereas Dean's very much like, this is my comfort zone. Whereas I think you could get a little bit of discomfort from Dean as well. Like in the pilot, he was thrilled to have his brother back and be hunting with him again, but there was just a little bit that was like, he doesn't necessarily know how to do this with Sam anymore.
Yeah.
And he's been without John for quite a while as well, so he's got used to doing it on his own.
Plus, I'm
So he's a
sure,
little bit,
it's dealing with the fact that now Sam's got this burden and this thing with Jessica that I think, it's kind of like you start to get hints about it too, I think a little bit in that episode. Yeah, that one kind of gets a hard, people are kind of go on and on about the special effects are not good, but just by,
it was 2005.
Yeah, it was
though,
2005. So I think they learned to lean on the less is more part of it too. Like in future, like don't try if you can't, just do the best with what you can, giving the feel of a baddie, or of a monster in ways that, because sometimes when you show the monster, it's almost not as,
it takes everything away.
I'd rather you just hint at the monster and give everybody else the imagination capacity to just make it even worse in their heads than whatever you could probably give them on screen. But yeah, no, I'm always, especially because this has just come up. I'm on season 6, maybe, The Mentalists. Just after Sam finds out that Dean lied and he did kill Amy. So it's just after they find out that Borax, it combats the Leviathans and stuff. And that really, watching Jim Beaver act against himself, those are my favorite kind of monsters, where it's psychological. So like, whatever I personally think of Misha, man is a great actor. So when he puts the souls back in purgatory, but the Leviathans hold on, and then it's just snap, and he goes from dying, injured Castiel to a Leviathan, and you can see him really having fun with it. Yeah, that's scary to me. I don't particularly find monsters scary, so like the Wendigo or, like werewolves or vampires, like that kind of physical body horror doesn't bother me so much. Whereas that kind of psychological, is this person is possessed, is this person who they say they are, that I find that much more interesting. So yeah, that was definitely, that definitely linked into what you were saying, but I don't know how it did. Well, I think probably too, because I think it relates to your actual favorite. I think it's probably in the back of your mind, because I know what your favorite one is, and I think that's a good segue into reasons why.
Wendigo was my runner-up, and Sandra does know my winner, because I messaged her and I was like, "Does this count?" She very graciously went, "Yeah, if you want." So my favorite monster of the week episode is another season 1 episode. It's 115, The Benders. Now, this episode should go out after our definitive top and bottom episodes, I'm pretty sure. So I did discuss that like briefly in that episode, but I've got more time now. I'm not running down a checklist. So I come back to this episode so much because there's something truly horrifying about humans. And this is a show, and it's called Supernatural, for fuck's sake, and they really lean into the supernatural. So demons, angels, werewolves, vampires, Jefferson starships, Leviathans, whatever. There's plenty of monsters to choose from. A bajillion and one ghost episodes. But this one, and if I remember correctly, this is the episode that the people I get, demons I get, people are crazy line comes from. Yeah. It's just, there's just something about this, humans are the real monster kind of thing, which definitely does tie into what I was saying, because it's psychological horror that trips me out every time. These are people. They're not possessed. They're not, being manipulated. They're just shitty, evil people doing shitty, evil things because it's fun. And that just gets me. I've always been like, some would say I have an unhealthy interest in serial killers and and things of that nature. Miss me with
that's
Ted
how
Bundy,
you
by the way.
You connect to Sam that way too. Aw.
Yeah. Miss me. By the way, anybody, I will chat serial killers with fucking anybody. Miss me with Ted Bundy. He's a really boring serial killer. Really boring. Come at me with someone interesting. Okay? Like Ed Gein or Dahmer. You know, someone with a bit of something. Fucking miss me with Ted Bundy. Anyway, I've an unhealthy obsession, some might say, because I have that opinion. But I think it's not so much serial killers, although it is. It's the depths of human depravity, which is such a wanky sentence to say. That's like the start of some bullshit lecture by some pont. But how bad can people go? You know, Dahmer fucked corpses. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. But I didn't mean to say Dahmer. Ted Bundy fucked corpses. Dahmer also fucked corpses. But Dahmer, like, injected acid into people's brains, you know? John Wayne Gacy dressed up as a clown. Ed Gein made lamps out of skin. You know, it's a progression of depravity.
Yeah.
That I find it really interesting because we are, I don't want to say humans as a species are peak evolution, because I don't think we are. We're terribly, terribly designed. But like, we can only judge everyone against ourselves. So we have society and morals and things in ways that a lot of other animals don't have. So we elevate ourselves. So then we have all of this. And it's just, I find it interesting to see how far off the reservation people can go and still justify it in their heads.
Yeah. I think I think the one thing that's interesting too that Supernatural does do or talk about, or at least present in a way, is how in certain situations humans will utilize monsters for immoral things too, or how when you get a certain power, how do you use it? Like the witches. There's one episode where it's literally the human is, doing like marketing off pieces of monsters to other monsters. It's like the episode with Donna. I think it's called Breakdown or like humans. It's very, but every demon was once human. And, how does that progression get them from starting here to ending here? And a lot of it is choices and how you're reacting to what you're exposed to. I think a lot of it's power, which is just very interesting to me too. Or even like Bobby's, even though, we're not the biggest fan of Bobby being killed and then being brought back as a ghost and all that. Like you see Bobby's choices that he's making and how it's affecting him in the afterlife and how he could become that ghost that's just all vengeance. And there's no part of his humanity that's really left. And the Benders is interesting because, like you said, it becomes sport. They're just hunting other humans. What was that trigger, that got them thinking, hey, and again, they kind of talk about, well, got tired of hunting deer and, elk and bear. What's next? Hunt humans. And there's something it just makes you think about if you were given abilities or choices with certain amount of power, what would you do with it? And, would you go down a certain path? But some people are just like, sometimes it's just what's missing there. And I think morality is a big part of it for some people. And because people can bend morality to their liking too, based off of what their motive is. So,
and I think a lot of times in Supernatural, bad deeds are excused under the guise of I was possessed or I was used or I was manipulated. Even the Bobby thing, Bobby's going dark side, and it's not Bobby's going dark side. It's Bobby's a ghost and he's becoming a vengeful spirit. Like it's justified. Bobby's making shitty choices and doing shitty things, but it's somehow it's justified. Like they don't excuse it, but they're like, oh, it's because he's a ghost, you know. Sam, although I love me some Meg Sam, Sam goes fucking like crazy balls and like kills a bunch of hunters and stuff, but it's okay because it wasn't him. He was possessed, you know? And I think they kind of try to toe the line with some monsters, like, you know, the vegan vamps and things like that. But so many times it comes up in Supernatural that people do bad things, but it's not their fault. You know, they're not. It's not their fault. They were possessed. There's always a justification. There's always a reason. Whereas this episode basically went, no, some people suck. You know, some people are just shitty people. And I like, obviously so early in the season, it was just like a test, you know, there was no, I really don't think the message that Kripke and the creative team had was like, oh, humans are the real monsters. I really don't think that's what it was.
No.
They were just going, what's something we haven't done? You know, they're going down the checklist of common monsters before they started inventing their own.
No, but they definitely do go through that though. Like I think there's hints of it later, and I think they do play with that a little bit more. I was thinking too, it's like talking about humans are the real monsters. I think Gordon was an interesting, really layered character.
Yes.
In terms of like what his original intention of, you know, really was just, he just wanted to get revenge, you know, for his sister. But then he really could not, it was all black and white. Even like them wanting to go after Sam for, you know, finding out that he was one of the psychic kids or whatever was happening. And just like that laser focus and not being able to see, even when he got turned, you know, there's still no reasoning behind it. You know, he's like, you got to kill me. You got to do this, or I'm not going to be able to help myself. I'm just going to keep going. You know, interesting the way that they kind of like played with a couple different characters too with that. Yeah. Bobby. Yeah. Like the justification, but then I think too, at the end of it, like Bobby's saying like, you know, look, I've done a lot of bad things now. You've got to take care of this before I just can't stop myself anymore, you know, and I just keep not looking at anything beyond the revenge that I want to go for, you know, like that kind of thing. So yeah, it's interesting. No, I think that was a good choice. A good choice for it.
Oh, good. Thank you. There's just something, and it's very much a theme throughout Supernatural, is how much can be excused under the guise of good intentions. So I'm thinking specifically of like, you know, Dean sells a soul for Sam. Sam kills Lilith in anger, and it's, you know, he sets off the fucking apocalypse, but it's like, no, you were manipulated. It's not your fault, you know? And it's something that I'm exploring in Junkies now, but the real, like, Supernatural gives a lot in the whole intent versus action. You know, if I drop a plate on your foot, I didn't intend to hurt you, but it still fucking hurts, you know? And it was just one of those, like God, and just one of those little moments that makes you go, yeah. And it's an episode I keep coming back to. And actually, whether it makes it into an outtakes episode or not, the little girl who plays Missy in this episode is Emma later down the line.
Yeah.
Which I only just found out because I'm looking at the wiki.
Yeah. I remember that. One too. Yeah.
Apparently Jared and Jensen cite this as one of their favorites in the first official Supernatural magazine, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Which is, because you know the actor experience is really important to me when it comes to picking up business. But I genuinely didn't know. It's just because I was scrolling down the wiki. I genuinely didn't know that. But like, that feels appropriate. So yeah, my favorite Monster of the Week episode is the Benders for vastly different reasons than Sandra's.
Yeah, I feel like I was going with feel good monster of the weeks, and you're like,
Yeah. Yeah, we went different places though, because you were like, these are episodes that break the tension a little bit. And I was like, no, these are episodes that are dark, that suck. And not like that they suck, like they're bad episodes, just like they suck, getting trapped in a mine with a flesh-eating monster sucks.
Yeah.
Being hunted for sport by insane, crazy people sucks. So, yeah.
Oh, I like this. I like when we discuss, and usually we just, more likely than not, we do come at them from different places, which makes it interesting, makes it for a good discussion. But still in like full agreement with choices, like good choices for those makes sense.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
So I guess we need to ask, tell us, listeners, what your favorite Monster of the Week episodes are. Why? Do any of ours match up with yours? If not, why not? And
tell us. Just give us the information.
Give us some information. Yeah. So yeah, any final thoughts, or do you think we've covered it all?
No, I think we've covered it all. I'm just curious, because we came at that from such vastly different places. I'm curious what other people think. Tell us what you think, guys. And next time we do a list, I'll come with a proper list. I won't just come with one and then another one, so I'll use the first one as a backup.
Yeah, but that's
I'll
just
make a proper list.
That's my fault to start, because then you look at the notes, you're like, oh, bloody hell. She's come up with like 7.
Fucking off again, isn't she? Yeah. I will say, I had access to this list until today. So I was like, it was in the meeting notes, which is just like our big old document of like episode ideas. So I went into the meeting notes, we're ready to record, and I was like, Sandra, where's the list? Did you take the list out? And she
took it. Yeah.
I did.
I took it out because it was messing up all of the things we were going to tick off. I'm like, now there's just a whole bunch of information there in the middle. So I'm like, let me just take it out. So I took it out.
No, there's just garbage. Yeah. Which left me flailing because I couldn't fucking remember what you were going to say.
But that's okay. You got to be surprised for some of them. I
did get to be surprised.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to wrap this guy up. So if you want to reach out to us, you can email us at idlingintheimpala@gmail.com, or reach out to us on Twitter at idlingintheletterdImpala. If you'd like to make your voice a male, check the description for a link to send us a voice message. You can find links to our personal socials and our AO3 accounts in the description. And there's also a link to my author website and my original fiction.
Original fiction, woo.
Yay.
Also, since it's picking up a little bit of traction, maybe you guys don't know, because we don't actually shout it out in the episodes, and I don't think it's in the link tree because I suck. We have a Discord server. We do.
Yeah, we do.
And if you donate to us, if you feel particularly generous and you donate to us, there is like a behind the scenes channel where we post like the behind the scenes stuff.
We haven't done much yet.
We haven't done much yet.
We will if we get more people.
I was trying to fluff over that and be like, yeah, no, there's definitely stuff in there, Sandra. But
there is. It's just been a while. But yes, we do have some behind the scenes stuff in there. But what's been great is that we've just got some listeners and friends of the podcast that are just in our regular channel, just chatting about stuff. And that's great. We love that.
We love to see it. So I will make sure that the Discord link is in the link tree, and it is always in the description as well. But come and join us, because there's other people in there. There are people in there and they are chatting and talking, and we are also in there. So like, if you like, I don't want to leave a comment publicly or whatever, come and tell us in the Discord, then it's just between us, like it's just between us and some of the fans and stuff. And there's been some really great discussions over this past kind of week about like one of our listeners is binge listening to our episode, so we keep coming back and there's like, I listened to this episode and I think this and this and this and this. So I will make sure that the links are all the way there. In my defense, I made that link tree quite a long time ago and we didn't have quite as many.
Well, and in your defense, the links that I did have in the description for the Discord channel, someone pointed out, weren't working. So now they're working. So now if you click on the Discord link, you actually will get an invite to the proper channel. We are in no way experts of Discord. So it's kind of like just learning as we go, but we appreciate when people tell us, oh, by the way, this isn't working. Well, that's why nobody's been joining.
That explains so many things. Yes. So come join us in Discord. We're here, pop in, say hi. We also have a website, idlingintheimpala.com. That is where you will find all of our merch. We have just put up new merch. We have Priding in the Impala will be done by the time this goes out, but the Impala Pride logos will be staying in the store. So if you're like, I like the Impala logo, but I'd like it more if I had a little rainbow in it, we got you, fam. We got you. And we've got like merch, t-shirts, blah, 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 blah. You go to a con, you want a shirt that says I hug Jared or I hug Jensen in this shirt, we got you, fam. They are all on idlingintheimpala.com. There's YouTube stuff, Spotify stuff, about us stuff, blah, 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 blah. It's a cool website. Come check it out. I'm proud of it. Yeah. I made it. I didn't make it.
An awesome job. Karlee did an awesome job putting it all together.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and leave us a comment wherever you access your podcast. But especially if you are watching or listening on YouTube, likes and comments really help us with the YouTube algorithm. All hail its benevolence. And it has been brought to my attention that you can leave comments on Spotify now. Apparently, Sandra does Spotify. I don't do Spotify. So this is outside of my remit.
There's usually a little Q&A that says, what did you think of this episode? That's a spot where you can leave a comment on what you thought of the episode. So feel free to utilize that as well.
Feel free to leave us. And don't forget to send us a voicemail. We love that, especially redirects. We love redirects in voicemail.
Yeah.
So I know I've given you a whole bunch of instructions, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you one more. In the description, also, you will find the current causes that we are championing. At the time of this recording going out, it's probably going to be around the end of July. So Pride Month will be over. It's still, as of time of recording, it's still June for one more day, 6 more hours in UK time. But, Pride is not just for June, guys. Pride is for all the rest of the year as well. So there's LGBTQ plus links in there. There is links about the American Civil Liberties Union thingy in there as well.
Information on voting. I've got another one in there. Yeah. No, it's horrible. It's what's just happening in the past 24 hours. The Supreme Court is just
So if you are listening in the US, it is going to be coming up on voting season. The presidential campaigns are going to be gearing up soon, aren't they? The election isn't until next year, is it?
It's not until next year, but we are in the middle of hearing about all of what the campaigns are just in full swing. So it's a good time to start to just take things into account, learn about if you're not already voting, if you need to get registered, it's never too early to make sure that that's just taken care of before something else gets taken away and then we can't do a thing that we need to do. So just make sure you're registered to vote.
And even if you feel like I haven't moved in like 40 years, I'm registered, it's grand. Things are changing so fast. Just keep checking. Just keep making sure that everything you've got in place
polling
is
places
still...
and different things like that. And again, things are going to be changing a lot, probably even more so. But just getting yourself aware of what to be on the lookout for and making sure that you're there to support other people. Where even if you feel, it doesn't really affect me, but it's going to affect your neighbor or your fellow citizen. And, we've got to be there to support each other through all of this madness and crazy time that's going right now. And it's bad.
Absolutely.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's not great. It's bad in the US and it's gearing up bad again in Europe. So we also have, links to support the unlawful invasion of the Ukraine by Russia. I don't know how much of that kind of news is getting over to you, but there was like a mutiny in Russia and forces, marched on Moscow and stuff. And now then they turned around and I don't know what's happening. And there was the dam burst in the Ukraine that seems to have fallen out of the media as well. Although I have seen news outlets marketing that as dam bursting could be the Ukraine's Chernobyl.
Mm-hmm.
Which, just for anyone who isn't aware of European geography, Chernobyl is in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Soviet nuclear reactor, but it was still in the Ukraine. So it's grim. The UK is going to hell in a handbasket, but there's nothing imminently coming up. When something imminently comes up in the UK, I'll be like, fucking vote, guys, go and do the thing. But nothing imminently. Our government is too busy arguing about whether or not the photos and videos of MPs partying when the whole country was in lockdown in Christmas of 2020 are actually videos and photos of people partying when everyone else was in lockdown in 2020, because the government are insisting that there were no parties, and we're all going, there's fucking video, lads. We watched it. Everybody's fucking seen it. Get a grip. So, but I'm sure nothing will come of that. So, but yes, causes in the description. Check them out. If you can donate, that's great. If you need the services, they're there. Just check them out. And with all that said, we will say thank you for joining us in the backseat, guys, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.